Hello everyone, welcome to day 29 of my 2-mile walk. And if this looks familiar, it's my backyard. I'm finally home from my 3-week trip through Maryland, North Carolina, Georgia, and then back here to Alabama. So I just got home, I'm getting settled in, and I'm going to do my 1-mile walk today because I'm a little bit late getting started and it's supposed to rain here in Alabama. So I am going to just walk around my yard and get my steps in until the rain starts. And so I think I can get in a mile just walking around my yard. It's a pretty big yard, but it's supposed to rain for the next few days. And so that's not a good thing because, as you can see, I've got stuff ready to burn in my burn barrel over there. And so it's been 3 weeks since I've walked in my yard, so got to keep my eye out for snakes. I just heard something in the bushes there, so don't know what that was. So we're just gonna take it easy and walk around my yard as if it's a nature trail. So I really do have a nature trail in my backyard because this is all my land. And so now you all are going to walk with me as we look at my land. And so I'm just going to show you guys that, oh, my creek is dry. It is a drought down here in Alabama. As you can see, my creek is dry down there, and that is all my land on the other side of the creek. I have another 5 acres of land on the other side of my creek. So I heard that there was a drought, but we're going to get rain for the next 4 or 5 days, so this creek will be flowing. And see, you can see down in the creek that it's pretty dry down in there. And the water will be flowing by tomorrow because this creek does not get dry but maybe once a year. And as some of you know that's been on my channel for a long time, I was planning to build or dig a 2-acre creek or pond, 2-acre pond on the other side of the creek, and then the creek would have filled the pond with water. That's what we do down here in Alabama. If you have a creek on your land, you use the creek to fill your pond, and then it stays full because you have an overflow on the other end of the creek, wherever the creek runs to. Normally, you sort of can't tell because all the plants look like they're merged together, but there is a lot of growth on my side of the creek here. And normally I come out with my hedge cutters and I cut all of this stuff down so that I can get down into the creek. So that right there is all future stuff for me to do, because what I do is I cut down all these trees that are on my side. And I know, again, you can't see them because they all look like they're the same, but there's a creek down in between all of this. And so I cut everything on this side of the creek that's on my land side, and then I burn it. And it gives me access to the creek, and so that I can get a better view of my creek. I want to go across the creek, and I wanted to build like a bridge, like a little walking path, or even a driving, something I could drive a truck across the creek and start clearing the land on the other side so that I can use some of that land, but we're really not using that land. So we are just going to walk on the nature trail in my backyard. The breeze is blowing, which is nice because it was 85 degrees down here when I was coming back in South Alabama. And so we're going to walk all the way up to the road. So that's my little shed. where we store a little wagon and a couple of tools. And so we are going to do Daryl's backyard nature trail. Day 29 of our 1 mile a day walk. And so after today, I just have to make it one more day. And this is a tree line that there is a field on the other side. It's someone else's land where they grow, I think, peanuts in that field over there. And then there are neighbors that are more forward, and they only have like a 1/4 acre of land. So my land borders a field where peanuts are grown and a neighbor's property. And so that's where we're walking today, is along my tree line. So that's my tree line. It goes all the way up to the road. And so this is a little pathway to my neighbor's land. And so that's where they have a backyard place where someone lives in their backyard there. But this is the hole that we pass through to get to the neighbor's house, and that the kitties pass through to come to our house. So when my puppy comes out of the house, he immediately turns at the garage and looks for this hole in the trees, because that's where his kitty friends come from. So he's always looking to see if his kitty friend is over here, who is named Toby. That's one of the cats over there. So we are doing Daryl's nature trail today. And we are walking up to the road, which is, as you can see, I have a lot of land. So when I'm out here raking, it is a lot. It's more than an all day job. And so now here's something about living in the country. You probably can't tell, but I've got a wire hanging here, and this used to be a cable cord that came from the house, and I cut it and ripped it back, and now it just hangs in my yard. So because we no longer have cable. And this, I'm going to try and show you this, is a huge oak tree that is on my land, but it separates my land and it sort of hangs over my next door neighbor's land. And you can see their house there in the background. But this is a huge, huge oak tree. It's at least a few hundred years old. And, you know, sometimes we have it trimmed back, and sometimes it just sort of grows where it wants to grow. And so that's the thing about my land, is I love seeing it just natural. And maybe this is why I like walking on nature trails. Here's a little trail that goes down, and my dog likes to walk back here. But a lot of times there are spider webs between the trees, so I don't really walk back here much. But this is a little trail that my dog likes to walk on, which is just along my tree line. But as you can see, I have a lot of really tall pine trees on my land. They're quite tall, so we hope none of them ever falls and hits the house, because there's only 1 or 2 that are close to the house. But when there is a storm, these trees can come down, and my next door neighbors have had these pine trees come down where they've had to cut them and chop them up. And I will tell you, when we were clearing some of this land here, we found that the prior owners had grown azalea bushes around tree stumps. So we didn't even know that there were tree stumps from fallen trees in the azalea bushes. And so that's just something they do. And this is a fence that goes over to my neighbor's land. And across the street, they sometimes have cows and stuff out there. And once in a blue moon, we get a truck, and my dog likes to chase the truck going down the road. But this is my country road that I just love. I tell you, there is nothing more beautiful than living on a quiet country road like this. And so these are my neighbors across the street. They live in Houston, so we almost never see them. And so now we come back here, and we're coming back onto my land here from the road. And as you can see, there are pine cones out here. And I normally will come out and rake up the pine cones and haul them all the way back in my little wagon down to the burn barrel at the back end of the yard. And that's the neighbor's house on the other side of us that you see there at the top of the picture. And so what I'm going to do is get over to my driveway, and then we're going to walk back down our driveway. Boy, there's a big old truck coming down my road there. So yeah, my land is pretty soft here. I mean, pretty dry, I guess is what I was trying to say. And my next door neighbor is heading out, so he's backing his truck around and stuff. And I'm just walking down my driveway, which is a long driveway. And I did a video one time coming out of my driveway and coming out of my garage, and it was like coming out of the Bat Cave. Hey, Neil! Good. So that was my neighbor there. And so we're walking down my driveway here back towards the backyard. You can say that this is our path. And I can't believe I've been recording for 11 minutes. And I haven't even made a complete loop around my property here. So you all are getting the grand tour of what it's like to live on 8 acres. And really only 3.5 of the 8 acres is really cleared. You know, we still have another 5 on the other side of the creek. But this is a good old quiet piece of land. Everything you see here to my right is my neighbor's land. So that's all his. And these trees, I think, are on my land, which separate my land from his land. And this is a big old tree that fell down and fell across the driveway when I was gone on a trip one time, and my neighbor had to come over with his truck and pull it to the side so that Leslie could get her car in the driveway and back to the garage. So that happened on one of my trips. Then I bought a chainsaw and I cut some of it up and took it down to the burn barrel. So we are still on the nature hike, or nature trail, in Daryl's backyard. Oh, and we can hear birds, of course. We always have lots of bird sounds in the backyard, which I sometimes take for granted, but not anymore, because I now have the app that tells me which birds they are. A lot of northern cardinals we have in the yard. And so this is a pile of compost, or they're like tree shreds that we had a company that was clearing trees around the electric lines on people's property, and we told them that they could come in our backyard and dump all of this, and they dumped truckload after truckload in our backyard, which we were going to use in the garden, and now it's just here and it's never really getting used. I do come over and get some every once in a while when I want to stoke up my burn barrel and I just need something to throw in there. There's just tons of wood chips here. And so, yeah, and that was years ago that we had them bring them and drop them off. And we are still using up those wood chips. Mostly they were supposed to be for the garden, but they're just here piled up on the land. And so we are about to make our loop, and then we're going to see if I've made my mile, because this is quite the loop. You know, I don't know. I will report back when the what this loop is around my property, just walking around the edge and walking back down here to the creek, which is where we started. And so this little area over here is a good place for me to just rake up leaves if I just want to get the burn barrel going, you know. And so this is my leaf area. It doesn't really need to be mowed because nothing really grows back here. As you can tell, it's very shady back here. And so no grass really grows under this part on my yard. But my dog loves walking back over here. And I know that he won't ever get near the road because we're a quarter mile off the road back here, or more. And I just have to worry about snakes because there are snakes down here by the creek. Mostly black snakes or rat snakes. We do have rattlesnakes out here, although I haven't ever seen one or heard one, and I don't want to. You can't really see this, but I'll try and zoom in here. There are downed trees in the woods on my property, and so I always wanted to go in there and get them, but I never quite made it through all the brush that we have here. And you know, you can cut this stuff down, it'll grow right back. It'll grow right back. It'll grow faster than you could cut it down and trim it. So I tend to let the land be wild. And, you know, we don't cut down much. We just wait for stuff to fall. You know, every time it rains or the wind blows, branches come down. And that's what we burn, are the broken limbs and branches that come down when we get rain and wind. And this is my life as a person who retired early in the country. And so let me show you this one thing that has bothered me the whole time that I've been here. This tree has been down in my creek since I moved here 6 years ago. I have no way to get the tree out of the creek. I have not been down there to try and cut it up with a chainsaw or anything. It's just in the creek. And so it's a tree that is just going to live there. You know, that's what I think. So, but now you're getting a glimpse of the fun that I have being out here in my little sanctuary where no one else comes down here. Just me and my dog. And you can see this grass here has all been mowed. While I was on my 3-week trip, my lawnmower person came and he mowed all of this back here because half of our lawn that's down here near the creek, it grows faster than all of the lawn that's up around the house. So we have to have him come here more often so it doesn't grow so much that it hurts his lawnmower. And that's our thing for the day. So I have been out here walking for 18 minutes and we're back at the creek and we've made a full loop here, and normally this would be my mile. So I am curious to see when I stop the video whether or not I've gotten my mile in. And I'm starting to head back up where I have a shed, and you can sort of see the garage there off to the side. Our garage is really in our backyard, in back of the house. So you have to come a quarter mile down the road and go to the back of the house in order to get somebody, because that's where my office is. So we don't see many people. I could say that much, you know. I'll tell you all a funny story before I end this video, that when we first moved here, we were outside in the backyard and we saw this sheriff come slowly driving down our driveway. And we hadn't been here all that long, a week or two. And the sheriff guys get out and they're looking at us saying, "Do y'all own this land?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Well, apparently we had our house alarm set on silent and we were outside looking at a snake skin that I had found in the backyard, and the alarm had gone off. And the sheriff was here because our alarm at our house had gone off. So that's one of the very few times someone unexpected came down our driveway. Other than that, almost no one. comes down that driveway. So when someone does, it's very, very unexpected. And so this is life in the country. Thank you all for joining me on this walk. I just got hit by rain, meaning it's getting ready to start. So I got my walk in before the heavy rain comes, because that was a big raindrop that just hit me. And so when it starts raining in Alabama, I mean, it comes down. So, oh, you can hear it. The rain is like starting. So I'm heading back to the house. Thank you all for joining me. And remember, never let your past determine your future.